Hey guys, hope all of you are having a nice day. Today, we'll be analyzing a coming-of-age movie called Lean on Pete. Before we go ahead into this video, be warned, there are some major spoilers ahead. We'll start with a quick synopsis of the film. Lean on Pete is a 2018 movie directed by Andrew Haigh, and it is an adaptation of a novel by William Lawton of the same name. The story is about a teenager named Charlie, played by Charlie Plummer, who lives with his father in Portland. Charlie meets Dell, who gives him a job taking care of his racehorses. Charlie becomes attached to a racehorse called Pete, and is saddened to learn that Dell has plans to send him off to Mexico. During this time, Charlie's father gets into an altercation with his mistress's husband, which results in him having to be hospitalized. Charlie's father eventually dies, which leads Charlie to gather his belongings and leave his home. He then stays with Dell and his horses for a while, until Pete loses a race, and Dell asks Charlie to load Pete up, so that he can be sent to Mexico, in other words, the slaughterhouse. However, Charlie runs away with Pete in Dell's truck. Charlie initially planned on taking Pete to his Aunt Margie's house, but this occurred. Don't worry, it's not a complete sub-story. Charlie does eventually find his way to his Aunt Margie, after some grueling experiences, and I mean it's a miracle if this kid doesn't have PTSD after all this. As they say, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. This leads us to the main theme of this film, and that is hope.
You serious?
I mean, yeah, it's a bit excessive to state that the main theme of this film is hope, considering this is what Charlie had to endure throughout the film. Most of you listening, or possibly even all of you, might be thinking that it's a stretch to state that the main theme of this film is hope. Here's my argument for why it is. If Charlie didn't have any hope for a better future, he wouldn't have gone to such lengths to find his Aunt Margie and take Pete along with him. It's obvious that Charlie becomes more and more untrusting of the adults around him. As the story progresses, throughout the film, we see that Charlie is surrounded by, or encounters multiple dysfunctional adults. His own father seems to neglect him. This is particularly evident in the scene where Charlie asks his father for his Aunt Margie's phone number. In this scene, his father's pride, ego, and selfishness stops him from providing Charlie with some sort of safety. He justifies his refusal of not giving Charlie Aunt Margie's phone number by stating that they can take care of themselves, and that they don't need anyone else's help. The irony is that Charlie's father has not been taking care of him, and Charlie has been left to fend for himself and for his father. There are several factors that can be identified throughout the film that points to his father's neglect. Number 1, Charlie has not yet been enrolled in a school in Portland.
So what do you like to do, Charlie? When Dell here isn't making you do all his dirty work?
I run. I play football.
At school?
Yeah, but not yet. I played in Spokane. I was on the freshman team.
Number 2, Charlie leaves with Dell, a complete stranger, for a whole day. And when Charlie comes back, his father remains calm, and instead of scolding him, he praises Charlie for finding a job. Just a quick reminder to all of you listening, Charlie is only 15 years old. Number 3, Charlie's Aunt Margie and his father had gotten into a fight over his father being an irresponsible parent. There are many other factors, but you get the idea. Dell is not perfect either. At the beginning of Charlie and Dell's dynamic, Dell seems to take on a father figure role. He He teaches Charlie about having manners, and even offers him some decent advice. You begin to think that Del may be better for Charlie than his own father is. However, Del has his flaws. We later learn that he is not a good role model for Charlie. He uses unethical ways to get his horses to win races.
Despite this, Charlie does not become untrusting of every adult that he encounters. He still sees the good in people. We see this when he pleads with Bonnie to ride Pete, in hopes that Pete will win if she does. In addition to this, on his journey to Aunt Margie, he stays with complete strangers, trusting that nothing bad would happen to him. Sometimes these people are genuine and only want to help him, and other times they have bad intentions. When Charlie does become subject to these bad intentions, he does not falter. Charlie is an extremely resilient character, so much so that you begin to question how and why he is this resilient. Charlie's resilience may stem from his desire to reach a certain goal, perhaps finding his Aunt Margie, or it could even be the pursuit for a better life. When Charlie was walking with Pete through the desert, he talked about his friend's family and how nice they were, as though he wants a life like that. He also tells Pete that he wanted his friend and his family to think that he's okay and doing well for himself. He specifically says, "I'd rather them never see me again, than see me like this." This is a significant scene, because it not only shows that Charlie has some of his father's pride, but that he has something to strive for, or something to prove. Perhaps, if Charlie's father wasn't the way he was and was actually caring, Charlie would not have developed a stoic personality. Much of Charlie's qualities, or traits, have developed because of being raised in a harsh environment. What separates Charlie from people like the homeless guy who beat him up, is that he has something to live for. Aunt Margie may be his last resort, but that's what keeps him going. The homeless guy, on the other hand, has nothing going for him. The girl that Charlie meets, when he stays over with the two military vets, sums it up perfectly. Her grandfather treats her like trash, and Charlie wonders why she doesn't stick up for herself. She tells him that, when you don't have anywhere else to go, you're kind of stuck. This is how I interpret this: hope can only exist if there is something worth living for. The girl doesn't have anywhere else to go, and so she remains stagnant. She lets her grandfather treat her badly, because she doesn't believe that things can ever change. Likewise, the homeless guy that Charlie meets does not make any effort to turn his life around, because he doesn't believe it will change, or more accurately, he doesn't know what he's fighting for. However, Charlie does. This brings us to the end of this video. I'd love to see your guys' thoughts on the film down in the comments, or if you want to read more about this movie, make sure to check out my article on Medium. I'll post the link to it down in the description, and finally, if you liked this video, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more.